That's what winning baseball looks like, everybody. The Houston Astros come from behind for only the second time in 2024 after trailing seventh inning or later. So let's talk about this win. Verlander wasn't sharp, but Bregman and Diaz said, it's okay. We got your back. Let's start right now.
Yainer and Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett Htown Wheelhouse Chancey.
Hey everybody, this episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. I'll tell you, you can find me here in a second, but I want to tell you about our sponsor, eBay Motors. They actually, this episode is brought to you. Yeah, it's brought to you by eBay Motors. I got my days mixed up. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive with all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to bring home the big win. Keep your ride or die alive with ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit available only to U.S. customers. Now, you can find me at Htown Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Back to the Bullpen on X and on Instagram. You can also find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook, where I am always positive, always Stros. Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been it was a great game. It actually did not start out as such. If you watch the game from beginning to end, you thought maybe, okay, here's JV giving up a couple bombs. Maybe we do something. And it was 4-3 for the longest. And I was like, well, here goes another one-run loss, because the Astros are abysmal in one-run losses. And at the end of the day, you were just like, okay, well, I guess maybe Presley or someone else is going to come in and kind of give up the win if we tie it. And we just didn't know what was going to happen. But even though Justin Verlander wasn't at his sharpest like he was the last two games, he actually walked a batter for the first time in 3 games, actually in 3 outings. And he did induce 11 swings and misses. So he wasn't horrible, but he did give up 2 home runs to a single player. I don't know that I've seen a multi-home run game off of him. If there has been one, it's been a while. But he threw 104 pitches, 51 four-seam, 20 curve, 18 slider, and 11 changeups. He got that changeup working more and more this time. He got most of his whiffs on his four-seam fastball and his slider, meaning his fastball had a lot more movement. It moved up out of the zone. It moved away from those bats. And so that's definitely what you want to see. But dude, Kyle Gibson comes in here and he always pitches well against Houston Astros. 15 swings and misses. He was killing it with his sweeper. His sweeper, he had 11 whiffs alone on 21 swings on his sweeper. So it was working. Look, if it's not broke, then don't fix it. So Kyle Gibson actually did a great job doing that. Thank y'all for tuning in, everybody. Y'all are awesome. We appreciate you guys just hanging out and hanging in with us. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you listen to us on the way to work, on the way home from work. But this is, again, it's a rare late inning comeback. It's only the second time that they have come back being down, down in the 7th inning or longer. Man, I cannot get my thoughts to connect right now. But this is what I was telling you earlier. 104 pitches, 4 runs, 7 hits, 3 home runs across 5 innings. But St. Louis took 55 swings against them, and they whiffed 11 times. So that's not bad. You definitely don't want to give up the 3 home runs, because typically when you give up home runs as the Houston Astros, you don't recover. And so let's go back into the game and look at it. Oh, and I have an update. The Rangers got beat by the Detroit Tigers today, so that puts us a little closer. We're 27-34 now. Montero got the win today, and Josh Hader got another save. Looked really, really good. So what went down with this team? I mean, in the first inning, it was Kyle Tucker got a single. We'll talk about Kyle Tucker in the second segment. I'll give you an update on him. He actually stole a base today. You had Jordan get on base. And then Alex Bregman grounded out. Jake Meyers grounded out. I mean, the Cardinals go up early, scoring 2 runs. They get a home run from Burleson and 2 home runs from Gorman. So they take the lead 4-2 into the 5th inning. Now, even when you get to the 5th inning, after the 5th inning, when you get into the 6th inning, Mauricio Dubon flies out, Yordan Alvarez doubles, Alex Bregman called out on strikes, Jake Meyers singles, Yordan scores, it's 4-3. And this is where you go, okay, cool. Jeremy Pena gets up, he singles, and then he steals a base. So you're like, yes. Then Singleton walks, and you're like, they replace the pitcher. And then Yainer and Diaz gets up and he grounds out. He grounds out against the new pitcher, Kittredge. And so I was actually looking at the splits for Diaz and for Caratini. Okay. My question at the time was, do you put Caratini in here to pinch hit? And there was a uniform response across the board. Yes, absolutely. Well, Diaz stayed in, and we'll talk about how he affected the game here in a second. Of course, if you watched, you know. But at the same time, I was looking at right-handers and left-handers, and it's a good thing that they had Diaz in against Romero, who's a left-hander, because Diaz does a lot better against lefties. Caratini he's got about the same split, so neither one of them would have gained an advantage. But if you take Diaz out at that point, you don't have him there late in the game. And so it's 4-3. You see your chances, kind of fall by the wayside. 7th inning, nothing happens. Seth Martinez replaces Parker Mashinsky. Then Mason Wynn, he strikes out swinging. Alec Burleson grounds out. Paul Goldschmidt grounds out. Then you get to the 7th inning. You're like, okay, yes, this is our inning. We're gonna do it. Chas McCormick strikeout. Altuve grounds out. So Dubon reaches on an error. You're like, okay. Then Romero comes in. And what does he do? A big, massive strikeout for Yordan Alvarez. So at that point, you have to now, if you're the Astros, you still believe you can win it. If you're the Astros, I don't care how many times you haven't come back, you still think you're going to win it, correct? I mean, that's how you look at this. That's how I look at this. But the probability of them winning at that point goes way down, especially after a big Yordan Alvarez strikeout. You're like, okay, well, this guy's going to stay in. And it's just going to be one of those games where we just don't come back. We're going to lose. It's going to stink. We're going to lose literally 4-3 by 1 run once again. Now, what did I talk about? Players that need to get multi-hit games. Alvarez had a multi-hit game. Myers had a multi-hit game, had a key hit. We didn't have more than 2 guys get a multi-hit game, but we had guys get hits when it mattered most. They had 9 hits, and they scored 7 runs. The Astros, that is. The Cardinals had 8 hits. They only had 4 runs. Runners in scoring position, 3 for 9 tonight. 3 for 9. 2 out RBI. Alvarez. 2. Jake Meyers. Alvarez, Jake Meyers, and Altuve all had 2 out RBIs. So all the games that they played where they've been behind in late innings, that has been the thing they haven't been doing. Guys get on base, they don't score them. Guys get a single, they move over to second, they don't score them. I mean, Altuve narrowly misses a home run. The outfielder doesn't run it down, ground rule double. He scores a run, but 2 out RBI. Runners in scoring position hitting. And your key bats doing what they need to do when they're up. And that's what they did. Verlander wasn't the greatest. He wasn't horrible. But there are some things that I think if they can tap into this going forward, that we can see a good flipping of the switch. But I don't want to say that every time we win a game. Every time we start thinking things are going the right direction, they go south. And so that's why we need to talk about something. In the next segment, I'm going to give you an update on Kyle Tucker. Oops. Yeah, I will. Okay, so Kyle Tucker, all right. Kyle Tucker is not going on the IL right now. But this is what Chandler Rome said. Chandler Rome said that Kyle Tucker needed crutches to get around the Astros clubhouse, but said x-rays were negative and nothing is broken. He expects to undergo more tests tomorrow. He said that Kyle Tucker has a right shin contusion, according to Espada. Again, the x-rays look good. He's day-to-day for now, so it's too early to know if he will go on the IL. So next segment, we'll talk about that and the implications of that when we get to our next segment. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. Look, FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and it's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL. And FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Now, let me get into these NBA Finals predictions, or where FanDuel is saying, look, Boston is a -230 favorite over the Dallas Mavericks, and the Mavericks are a +180 underdog versus a Celtics. So if you're a new customer, the way you can take advantage of this is if you make a $5 bet and it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets. That's right, $150 in bonus bets to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Yeah, so here's the deal. With Kyle Tucker, okay, if he's out, I would assume that it would be a contusion, almost like a bruise, that would probably need a couple days to heal. I don't know if you do it a 10-day IL stint. You just give him a few days off, but someone was asking in here, I saw earlier, they were asking about, well, does this mean Joey Loperfido gets called up? Look, I have a question. Why in the world is Greg Kessinger on this roster? Why is Greg Kessinger on this roster? I'm gonna get to an odd pinch hitting option that Espada went to here in a little bit. Well, but I want to talk about our guy Diaz. Diaz comes in and he had not homered in 156 plate appearances before ambushing a first pitch slider from Jojo Romero to give the Astros a 2-run lead. Before that, Alex Bregman had hit career home run number 174, tied with George Springer for 6th all time. So he tied his old buddy there, 6th all time on the Astros home run list. But this home run by Yainer Diaz was huge. This guy has been searching. He's been working with the hitting coaches tirelessly. And I think it's affected both sides of his game. His catching, maybe some of his game plan and calling, but everything, if we can get things going in the right direction, hitting wise for Yainer, hitting wise for Bregman, who I'll talk about in the last segment, then I think this could be a good thing. But if Kyle Tucker goes down for an amount of time, whether it's 10 days or 15 days, I don't know. I'm purely speculating. I think that opens the door for Joey Loperfido. I think Joey Loperfido comes up. I think you send Greg Kessinger down, bring up Joey Loperfido, let him man right field, give him right field. And he's been taking a lot of first base. Also, he's been making a lot of really good plays at first base. And so you've got to love what you're seeing out of the young lefty who doesn't seem to have many opportunities. Okay. Opportunities are opportunities are not very fruitful. Okay. So at the end of the day, what is it going to take for this team to find their stride? Well, I'll tell you one thing that it's not going to take is it's not going to take having both John Singleton and Jose Abreu on this roster. Look at this interesting tidbit that I picked up. John Singleton, and this is from Chandler Rome. John Singleton is 1 for 26 in his career as a pinch hitter. Jose Abreu has now taken 4 career pinch hit, plate appearances. He's 0 for 4. The Astros had burned Mauricio Dubon after Kyle Tucker got hurt, which shows the dilemma of the Astros having John Singleton and Jose Abreu on the same roster. It doesn't make any sense. And if I'm the Houston Astros and I'm trying to think of what is going on with our situation with Abreu and our situation with Singleton, to me, Singleton adds a lot more. He adds more defense. I think he's got a better eye at the plate. I just don't know that Abreu is ever going to come back. I just don't know that Abreu is ever going to come back. And so at the end of the day, I really need the Houston Astros to make their decision. Now, here's something I want to hit on before I get to Alex Bregman. The Houston Astros have a very weak June schedule. They've won 2 of their last 3 games. They've got a very weak June schedule. June is the month where the Astros need to make their moves and they need to go out and win a lot of games. I said they need to win 20 games this month. Someone told me that's insane. There's no way the Houston Astros win 20 games in a month. You're crazy. Well, if there's a month in which they can win 20 games, it's this month. They won the game Saturday versus the Twins. They won Monday versus the Cardinals. They're 2-3 now in June, despite losing the series to the Twins. They've got 2 more with the Cardinals, 2 winnable games. The Cardinals are sliding right now. Then you've got the Angels. Don't talk to me about the Angels are pesky. No, they are not. The Giants aren't the world beaters that they are supposed to be. Then you have a day off. Then you have the Tigers, which they can't be scoffed at, but their top prospect, Spencer Torkelson, got optioned to AAA. Then you got the White Sox. God forbid if you lose a game against them. You should sweep the White Sox. The Orioles are the only team this month. The Orioles, the 3-game series versus the Orioles, is the only team this month that worries me for the Astros. It's realistic that the Astros can go the next 4 games this week through Saturday, can win the next 4 games and go on a 5-game winning streak. Then let's say you let the Angels have that Sunday game. You take 2 of 3 from the Giants. You take 2 of 3 from the Tigers, then you're sitting pretty. You sweep the White Sox. You know what? I'll give the Orioles a series. Give them 1 out of 3. I'll take 1 out of 3 for them. I'll take the last 2 at home versus Colorado, and at the Mets, I'm going to take that. So right now, we had 2 wins on the books already. I'm going to give us another 4 wins this week. Let's say 3 wins if we're not being chintzy here. So what is that? 6-1, okay? You give the Angels a first win on Sunday, the 9th, so it's 6-2. You win 2 of 3 from San Francisco. That's 8-3. Then you go to Detroit. You win 2 of those 3. That's 10-4. Then you sweep the White Sox. That's 13-4. You take 1 from the Orioles. That's 14-6. You sweep the Rockies. That's 16-6. You sweep the Mets. That's 19-6. Yeah, 20 games is tough, but you're right there. You get that. You get what I'm saying. This is a month that they can do it. This is a month that the Houston Astros can get hot at the right time, right before you get into July. I like that. And if they do that, think about this before we get to our next segment. They become buyers. They become buyers at the trade deadline. Then you're squarely in the picture for the AL West. All you got to do is win the AL West. And I'm sorry, that is not hard. That is not a difficult task this year. That is not a difficult task. Let's talk about Alex Bregman in our next segment after this. This episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Millions of parts for your MVP. Win every time with parts that fit your ride. Passion, drive, and patience. A formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, rack roofs, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, the part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home wins that are huge. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available for U.S. customers. That's right. Make sure that you tune into Locked On Astros. Also tune into Locked On Sports Today. It is the only 24/7 sports streaming channel on YouTube. Also check out Locked On Astros Postcast with Michael Connor, where he gets you after every single game. And when it comes football season, which is going to be pretty exciting this year in Houston, we'll have you covered. Also, when it gets to basketball and the Rockets start up in full swing, you'll hear Michael Connor talk about that in U of H Sports as well. So check them out. Look, I appreciate every single one of y'all in here hanging out. Y'all got to come by and watch a show and take part, because I kind of like how the chat regulates itself. I don't feel like I have to babysit you guys and girls. I see y'all going back and forth, but I try to ignore it because it can be quite distracting sometimes. I'm just throwing that out there. Trying to conduct a show in a certain order to be professional so that you can get the best information on the best team. Nowhere else do you get coverage like us for Locked On Astros. Hey, look, I was wrong. I tweeted something out today. Oh, not a week goes by that I don't tweet at least one thing that I'm like, maybe I should have waited on that one. But I just asked the question, should Diaz be pinch hit for? Should they have put Caratini here? And when Diaz got up to the plate, man, he just crushed the ball. But not before that, you had Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman is on an absolute tear right now. Alex Bregman is 4 for 17 in June. Okay. Is that right? I think it's either 4 for 17 or 5 for 17. He has 5 home runs in his last 28 appearances. So 5 home runs in his last 6 games. His OPS is up to 691. That's right. He's no longer the lowest OPS on the team. I mean, this is good news, people. We should be excited about this. 691. I mean, Mauricio Dubon's at 729. Altuve's really Altuve's at 289. Jimmy Pena's still at 296. So we've had our guys drop a little bit OPS and average wise, but I need Bregman. Bregman is now at 691. He's over Diaz. Diaz was almost 200 points above him not too long ago. I absolutely love this trend. And Alex Bregman, yeah, he's hitting 417. I'm sorry, he's 5 for 12. Okay, sorry. He's 5 for 12 in the month of June. So he's hitting 417, OPS of 1417. That's right. Slugging percentage of 1,000. Bregman, this is what I need you to do. This is what we all need you to do in Locked On Astros Nation. I'll get to the news on Javier here in a second. What we need is Alex Bregman to have a month of June like he's had the week of June. Let's say times 4 or 5. Let's have the biggest month that Bregman's ever had. How many of y'all are here for it? How many of y'all are here for Alex Bregman hitting? So right now, he has, let's see, where are his home runs at? He has 2 home runs in June. He has 2 home runs in the first 3 days of June. If he hits 2 home runs every 3 days, and there's 30 days in June, he could hit 20 home runs in the month of June. If Alex Bregman hits 20 home runs in the month of June, which I'm not saying he's going to, he'll have 29 home runs at the end of June. Now, is he going to do that? I don't know. But I sure would love to see it. Yeah, we do need a bunch of sweeps. Tuck, they have not announced on the IL. They have not announced whether Tucker is going on the IL or not. I just went over that earlier. I don't know if you were here, but he does have a right shin contusion. And if you watch that clip, I actually retweeted it. You could hear a very emphatic F-bomb. Like, you know, I mean, he drops the F-bomb. I mean, that ball hit him directly on the shin. It was brutal. It was hard to watch. But he did undergo x-rays. They were negative. So he's day-to-day. It's still too early. I'm pretty sure we'll hear something. If you saw my update on Jose Urquidy, he is getting a second opinion from Dr. Keith up in Dallas, one of the team doctors. And it sounds like he may be heading to they basically said Tommy John surgery for Jose Urquidy is on the table right now. They have also said that they are getting a second opinion on Christian Javier, but they have not updated us on that. But look, there are some guys that are on the farm that could come up and could help. We've got some pitchers that could come up and could help. Remember, Sean Dubin, he just got recalled. He's up here, I believe. And it's so hard for me to keep up with these guys shuffling back and forth. I know Mashinsky came back up. Dubin went up. He came back down. Spees came up. He got sent down. So they're having to do a lot of patchwork with these guys to help them fill in. But here are keys. Here are keys to the Houston Astros having a successful June. Number one, Alex Bregman has got to stay hot. And they asked Alex Bregman tonight after the game, what was it? It was on the radio. What was it, or what is it that you contribute to being hot lately? He said, all the work of our hitting coaches, our analytics team, our advanced team, and looking at my mechanics and breaking it down. And that's what he's doing. I mean, he is a lab rat. He is a student of the game, and he's a student of his own mechanics. So June, how do we navigate a successful June? Well, number one, you already know your competition is basically, it's hard to say they're inferior for this team this year because we are not playing like we played in the last 7 years, right? The last 6 years. You've got to continue. You've got to have your bullpen do what they did tonight. You've got to hit with you. Basically, when guys get on base, you have to bring them home. You have to get your runners in scoring position numbers up. Guys like Alex Bregman, guys like Diaz need to get hot. Altuve needs to get hot again. Yordan Alvarez needs to start hitting the long ball more than what he has been. If you're going to lose Kyle Tucker for 5 or 10 games, you bring up Loperfido. He was hot when he went down. Maybe he can come up, and that'll be the motivation he needs, and he contributes. You got that youthful life. You got that left-handed bat, the power bat. You've got the glove out there. The Astros need to simply – their starters are getting quality starts. Okay? For the most part, their pitching's holding it down, except for a couple people in the back end. You shuffle around that back end. I love Montero in the 8th. Montero is pitching well. Yeah, man. Montero deserved that W tonight, Plants. He really did. He is pitching out of his mind. Much maligned. We talked about how his contract was horrible. He got paid too much. All that. But if you look at, I'm going to say it, the back of the baseball card, every other year he has a good year. And this is that other year. So someone said Presley is looking old. Look, I think Presley, people call him Stressley on X. I just think he's having a tough go at it. I think mentally he's got it up here. That's right. Martinez has a 1.95 ERA. And so I love the fact that we have Montero, we have Abreu and Hader. Those would be that would be my back end guy. Those would be my back end guys. The only question against Montero, and I got to wrap it up here. The only question against Montero, or the only thing against Montero being that guy, is would you rather have him in the middle innings? Do you want him as more of a middle reliever? I don't know. Because what happens if stuff goes off the rails, right, with the starting pitcher? But look, Justin Verlander, 104 pitches, the most he's pitched this season, into the 5th inning, and he grinded that 5th inning out. So good for him. Good on him. Get with those home runs, sticking with it. Yeah, Shalonda, I think you're 100% accurate. And I don't think he wants to say it, but it's got to be. I think he wants to be a closer. He doesn't like to go, there's no way he's okay with being a closer. But hey, listen, there's 150 of y'all, okay? 150 of y'all. I hope we have 150 likes by the end of this show. I am super sorry for the rough takeoff today on the podcast. I'm kind of jealous of Eric. By the way, Eric is not suffering, y'all. He is on a cruise. He is putting all the pictures up on Facebook. I'm seeing him every day. And he's showing all these different cuisines he's eating. I said, dude, you eat chicken fingers. You don't eat anything else. But hey, guys, time is of the essence. And that's all I got for this show, Locked on Astros. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a good, positive update on Tucker and Javier. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all are the best. Love y'all. Y'all are the real MVPs. Without you, we don't have this show. Like us, subscribe, share with a friend, and let's go get another game. Let's beat our old NL Central foes, the Cardinals. I'm out.